What up, you nerds? Fallout here, and today I want to talk to you about two upcoming top-tier weapons that are very likely fast approaching to Destiny 2. Both of these weapons are legendaries and are not yet in the game. I wouldn't really call this a huge spoiler because it's not like either gun is an exotic, but if you want to find out what these weapons are organically, then here is your last spoiler warning. Turn back now. You still here? Thirsty for information, are ya? Alright, good, let's talk. Talk real quick about the sponsor of today's video, Manscaped. Manscaped. Fellas, some of us are indoors a little more frequently these days, growing quarantine hair. Sure, the pictures are funny, but ain't nobody gonna be laughing at the sight of a quarantine bush. Hook yourself up with Manscaped and their Perfect Package 3.0 kit. They created the world's first manscaping kit that makes taking care of your lower sidearm easier than ever before. Their safe and easy to use clippers are USB powered and waterproof. You can even use the damn thing in the shower. That's what I call a time saver. Are you looking to clean up more than just your downtown barrel? Well, check it out. Now they've also got the Weed Whacker nose and ear trimmer. With this bad boy right here, you can make your nose so clean you'll be able to smell your enemy's fear in trials. Be optimal with your hygiene, boys, and get 20% off and free shipping on your Perfect Package 3.0 kit when you use brand new promo code FP20 at manscaped.com. That's promo code FP20 at manscaped.com, and thanks again to the fine people at Manscaped for sponsoring today's video. So, what are these weapons I'm talking about? Surely we've seen every new weapon already via the Drifter's weird little engram dirt cleaning machine thingy. Not true, there's more coming down the pipe from what we understand. According to the website light.gg, which is pretty much the extent of my data mining capabilities, there are two guns that are likely coming whenever the first Iron Banner event is of Season 11. Now, if you'll recall from the June 11th TWAB, the first one in Season 11, there was no mention of an upcoming Iron Banner event. Usually, if there's an upcoming Iron Banner event the following week, Bungie will be sure to let people know directly in the TWAB. That way people know what's coming up on the next weekly reset. Because there was no mention in the June 11th TWAB, I'm going to use my psychic powers of prediction and say that the next Iron Banner event is going to be June 23rd. Of course, if that doesn't end up being the case, just wait a little while. Bungie usually uses Iron Banner to help fill gaps in seasonal content, so if it's not on the 23rd, it'll only be a matter of time until Saladin is back at the tower again. How do I know these guns are coming in Iron Banner? From their description, of course. And also, of course, the fact that they are guns that already exist in the game. They're not necessarily new, they're just being brought back. Yes, these are old D2 weapons from Iron Banner back in the day, so even though you can find them both in the collections, they are getting re-released with a much larger and better perk pool. Alright, enough beating around the bush. What are these guns and why are they going to be top tier? Let's break each one down, starting with the Forward Path, a kinetic auto rifle. Right off the bat, the Forward Path is a 600 RPM auto rifle and a member of the Adaptive Frame family, meaning it is a shoo-in for being a good gun in the Season 11 meta because 600 RPM auto rifles are currently dominating the meta. Other than that, let's take a gander at the weapon stats, which ain't bad. A 50 base range, which will only be improved upon by whatever other rolls and perks you get. A base aim assist of 71. If you were to compare that to other 600 RPM auto rifles currently in the D2 sandbox, you would see that 71 is quite high. Most other adaptive autos are hovering around the low to mid 60s in the aim assist category. For recoil direction, the Forward Path has a 60 right on the nose, meaning if you wanted to, it would be a perfect candidate for a counterbalance weapon mod. If you don't know why that is, check the video I made way back when on what the counterbalance weapon mod actually does, link in the top right corner now. Stability and handling coming in at 48 and 72 respectively, which again is better than a lot of other default options in the adaptive category. And now, why don't we get into the weapon perks that can drop on this auto, and oh man, are you in for a treat. The gun does have a curated roll, but we'll get to that a bit later. From what we can see in column 1, the Forward Path does not have a permanently set scope, like, say, the Summoner auto rifle. You're able to get different scopes that are going to affect your overall zoom, range, and handling. Looking at what we have here, I'd say I'm going to be gunning for the Red Dot 2 MOA or the Red Dot Micro. The Red Dot Micro offers a whopping 9 range but only a 2 zoom, which I'm a big fan of because having too much zoom on an auto rifle scope can be jarring and sometimes works against you. I would much rather have low zoom but high range. The Red Dot 2 MOA gives only 6 range, but again has a smallish zoom factor of 2, but also a great handling of +10. In column 2, there's plenty of the usual options available. I'm usually on the lookout for either accurized rounds for the +10 bump to range or steady rounds. Even though it does hurt your range a tad, the extra stability I enjoy mainly for auto rifles. Column 3 and 4 are where things get interesting though. 6 perks in each, and looky what we have to play with. In column 3, the standard options to me are Feeding Frenzy, Pulse Monitor, and Dynamic Sway Reduction. Feeding Frenzy is kind of a no-brainer. Yeah, it was recently nerfed in the Season 11 Sandbox update, but having a faster reload in general is still nice to have in PvP. Remember that with 2 kills, your reload speed with Feeding Frenzy is officially the same as Outlaw, and if you get 3 kills, it's even faster. Pulse Monitor recently got a buff. When it activates, your weapon gets a +50 handling increase. Mother of God, a faster reload automatically reloads itself, and it works on stowed weapons. Meaning, if you didn't even have your forward path out and ready, but took crit damage, your auto rifle is now raring to go, and you can whip it out at lightning speed. Phrasing. Finally, Dynamic Sway Reduction, which also got a buff in Season 11, and even though I was already a fan of the perk, DSR now gives an extra 10 stability over time in addition to the accuracy buff. That doesn't sound like a lot on paper, but this perk is strong, and you'll know it's kicking in when you see that reduced reticle movement. I'm not gonna say flat out that the DSR will turn this rifle into a laser beam, because no one has the new version of the gun just yet, but it is a safe bet. In column 4, we've got a ton of hot options. Dear God, Tap the Trigger, Eye of the Storm, Multi-Kill Clip, Swashbuckler, as well as 2 new perks, Iron Gaze and Iron Grip. For damage dealing perks, Multi-Kill Clip I think outranks Swashbuckler, depending on how much you personally like to punch people. If you're a slap-happy guardian, then yeah, swash it up, but I prefer Multi-Kill Clip because I find myself shooting people far more often than punching them. If you get any perk that doesn't deal extra damage though, you'll still be fine because the other perks help overall weapon performance. Eye of the Storm and Tap the Trigger both contribute to overall weapon accuracy. Eye of the Storm only kicks in when your health gets lower, which is kind of a risky little gambit, so I generally prefer Tap the Trigger, which is a great perk. The last 2 options are Iron Gaze and Iron Grip. Iron Grip sounds like a great perk for an auto rifle, especially for folks who play on controller. You get a +20 boost to your weapon stability at the cost of 40 reload speed. Now, yeah, those numbers seem really high. It's entirely possible that the numbers on these perks on light.gg are gonna get tweaked, because a -40 reload speed sounds abysmal, but the laser beam factor of a +20 stability buff is kind of really enticing. If you do roll with Iron Grip, which I really want to, make sure your armor is pimped out on reload buff mods. Or if you're a hunter, just pump up your mobility and reload dodge away. The final perk is Iron Gaze. Brace yourself for this one. A +20 buff to your gun's aim assist at the cost of -40 range. Jesus. Now, I gotta tell you guys, this perk is the biggest up in the air game time decision in the game right now to me. I have no idea if this perk is gonna be good or hot, salty garbage. Again, the numbers could be different between now and the gun's release because a -40 penalty to range sounds kind of crazy. The TLDR on this one seems like it's gonna be that your weapon is going to be accurate AF, you just aren't going to miss shots, but wow, your damage drop-off point is going to be terrible. You're gonna have to be right up in the enemy's grill at mid-range, or your bullets are gonna be falling short and doing wimpy damage. To me, right now, Iron Grip sounds like the better of the 2 perks, for an auto rifle anyway, but we'll see. I've been surprised before. The curated role for the forward path is the Red Dot 2 MOA, armor-piercing rounds, dynamic sway reduction, and Iron Gaze. Again, all this really depends on how good Iron Gaze ends up being. If that weapon perk turns out to be confirmed hot and somehow by the grace of God a 40 range penalty doesn't end up nuking the gun's performance, I could see the curated roll being good. Iron Gaze is a wild card though, so we'll have to keep our eyes peeled when it finally drops. If you're interested in the roll I'm gonna be chasing when Iron Banner comes back, that'll be red dot microscope, accurized rounds, dynamic sway reduction, and iron grip or tap the trigger. Nothing fancy, no extra weapon damage, just insane neutral game performance. Oh, and remember that because the forward path is a kinetic, you can pair it together with the Felwinter's Lie or the Mindbender's Ambition. Game over. So Fallout, what's the other gun? Is it like a sniper or a shotgun, something cool? That would be the Fool's Remedy Energy Sidearm. And oh, I'm sure so many of you are laughing right now. He can't be serious. A 600 RPM auto, sure, I get that. But a sidearm? Listen man, real ones know sidearms slap right now. I'll take out my Drang or my Autumn and embarrass people who aren't expecting it, and it feels really good. The Fool's Remedy has good stats and great perks. It's a member of the Suros Rapid Fire frame family, meaning it naturally fires full auto. Now, I don't know about you, but sidearms are legit one of the only weapon categories in all of Destiny where I prefer my gun to be full auto if given the chance. Shotguns, pulse rifles, I might pass. Sidearms though, smashing the shoot button repeatedly while also trying to aim gets annoying to me, and IMO full auto is actually top tier on sidearms. Since the Fool's Remedy doesn't need to waste a weapon perk on getting full auto, as it naturally fires that way automatically, it already gives a big thumbs up to the gun in my book. I'm already a fan of the Dead Man Walking sidearm, which you can get from the Black Armory Forges. The Fool's Remedy, by comparison, has more default range, more default stability, higher reload, higher handling, and higher aim assist. Recoil direction on the Fool is a 94, meaning forget counterbalance, you can just slap a targeting adjuster or Icarus Grip mod on that bad boy and go to town. Checking out the weapon perks, any scope that gives range is what I'm after, as long as it doesn't hurt the gun's other stats too much. Right now I'm looking at the Tactic SAS or the Target SAS. Target SAS gives more range at +8 and only a -5 cost to stability and handling. The Tactic SAS gives an extra 5 range with no penalty anywhere in sight. Nice. I'm about that life. The Farpoint SAS is an option, but it really does kick your stability and handling right in the crotch. If you can handle the dip in those stats though, the +13 range is fairly absurd, so it definitely would be worth a try, especially if you're able to land ricochet rounds in column 2. You all saw that coming, right? Sure, there are other perks here that buff range, but ricochet also gives stability, and if you have that Farpoint SAS in column 1, it's like your stability isn't being hurt at all. Backup perks you should be happy with include armor-piercing rounds, high-caliber rounds, and light mag. Extended mag might not be bad. Rapid-fire sidearms do bleed through ammo pretty quickly, but I would rather have damn good range than a bigger clip any day. Column 3 has great options: Feeding Frenzy, Subsistence, Pulse Monitor, and Moving Target. Yeah, Hipfire Grip is there too, and because that recently got a buff as well, it might be worth considering, but I do like ADSing my guns and I freaking love Moving Target. That is my top desired perk in the column, hands down. Better movement speed and target acquisition when ADSing? Hell yes! Sign me up. In column 4, we got so many good options to pick from, it's actually kinda hard. Of course, we have our wild card, Iron Gaze, staring menacingly from the bottom of the column. I would say that range is probably what you want to not throw away on a sidearm. When you're using a sidearm and you don't have good range, you really feel it. Again, we have to wait and see how the perk pans out, but I'm feeling that you might not want it on your sidearm. Iron Grip is tempting, huge buff to stability. If you find that you're having trouble landing shots due to repeated weapon kick, Iron Grip might be for you. Quick Draw is always a great option on any gun. Being able to draw your weapon crazy fast can help you kill dirty shotgun apes charging you down at close range. Eye of the Storm you may want to pass on. Yeah, the extra handling and accuracy is great, I just think we have so many other better perks to work with here. Kill Clip is classic. Do I even need to break that perk down? You get a kill, you reload, you get better damage output and faster time to kill. Boom. We also have Rangefinder. I cannot tell you how tempting Rangefinder is on a sidearm. Yeah, it's not flashy like Kill Clip, but for weapons with short-ish range by design, having that extra touch can make such a world of difference. Given every option available in column 4, I'm tossing a coin in the wishing well on 3: Quick Draw, Kill Clip, and Rangefinder. The other perks are mostly okay, but these 3 are going to shine without question. And there you go. The only hang up right now is that, again, we don't know when exactly these weapons are going to drop, but they are all very likely to return somehow in some way via an upcoming Season 11 Iron Banner. So whenever we get wind of the next Iron Banner, stay alert, get that power level in fighting form, and get ready to jump into PvP, because if both of these weapons are in the loot pool, and they very likely will be, it's pretty much top tier PvP loot guaranteed. Keep your eyeballs peeled, and when the TWAB eventually unveils the next Iron Banner, mark it on your calendar. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.